Hello everyone, welcome to Simple Korean. Today I'm going to tell you some major characteristics of the Korean language. Korean is clearly different from other languages, so it seems to be difficult to learn. But it's not as hard as people think it is. When learning a foreign language, it will be helpful to understand its characteristics first. I hope this video will help you study Korean. The basic order of the Korean words is subject, object, and the verb. The Korean verb is placed at the end of the sentence, which is clearly distinct from English. 저는 한국어를 공부해요. I study Korean. The verb 공부해요, which means study, is placed at the end of Korean sentence. In English, a modifier comes after the modified, while the modifier should be placed before the modified in Korean. 예쁜 꽃. 예쁜 is pretty. It modifies the noun flower, 꽃. The modifier 예쁜 is before noun. This order is the same to English. 내가 사랑하는 사람. The person who I love. The relative clause who I love. 내가 사랑하는 modifies the noun, the person, 사람. In Korean, the modifier who I love is placed before noun. 내가 사랑하는 사람. 차가 빨리 달려요. It means the car runs fast. At the verb fast, 빨리 is the modifier of the verb run. 달려요. In Korean, the modifier 빨리 is placed before the verb 달려요. So, 차가 빨리 달려요. In English, the preposition comes before the noun and it indicates the relationship between words. But in Korean, it is placed after the noun, so it is the postposition. 책상 위에, on the desk. 학교로, to school. 집에서, at home. 로, 에서, these particles are the postpositions. When we use the auxiliary verbs and make the negative sentence, the order of the words are different from English. In English, the main verb comes after the auxiliary verb, but in Korean, the auxiliary verb comes after the main verb. 저는 수영할 수 있어요. I can swim. 수영하다 is the main verb. can is 을 수 있어요 in Korean. can swim is 수영할 수 있어요 in Korean. 수영하다 is swim, the main verb. The auxiliary verb 을 수 있어요 is placed after main verb 수영하다. So, 저는 수영할 수 있어요. 저는 지금 가야 돼요. I must go now. The auxiliary verb must, 야 돼요, is placed after the main verb 가다. 가야 돼요. 저는 지금 가야 돼요. When making a negative sentence, the negative marker comes before the verb in English, but the negative marker comes after the verb in Korean. We have another short negative marker 안 placed before word, but the conjugated form of negation 지 않아요 is placed at the end of Korean sentence. 저는 커피를 좋아하지 않아요. I don't like coffee. 좋아하다 is like. The negative form is 좋아하지 않아요. 저는 커피를 좋아하지 않아요. 거기에 가지 마세요. Don't go there. Negative imperative don't is 지 마세요 in Korean. It's also placed at the end of the sentence. 가지 마세요. 거기에 가지 마세요. In Korean, when you make a question form, you don't need to change the word order. Just raise the intonation of the sentence ending. Look at these examples. 커피를 좋아해요. I like coffee. 커피를 좋아해요. Do you like coffee? Two sentences are exactly the same, only the intonation of the sentence ending is different. As I mentioned, the Korean predicate comes at the end of the sentence. Verbs, adjectives, and noun 이다 can be predicates. Let's look at the sentence structures with three different predicates. 지민이 책을 읽어요. 지민 reads a book. 읽다 is the verb. 여자친구가 예뻐요. My girlfriend is pretty. In English, adjective pretty cannot be the predicate alone. So it needs the be verb. Is pretty. But in Korean, adjectives can serve as predicates in a sentence without be verb. 여자친구가 학생이에요. My girlfriend is a student. 학생이에요. 학생 is noun. 이에요 is be verb. Noun 이다 can be the predicate. Korean particles serve to indicate the function of nouns. They indicate which word is the subject or object in a sentence. There are many kinds of particles in Korean, but let's look at some of them. 친구가 한국에 와요. 가 is the subject particle. 에 is the place particle. 저는 커피를 마셔요. 는 is a topic particle. Topic particle is used as a subject particle in many cases. 를 is an object particle. The conjugation system is the core of Korean grammar. The verb conjugation determines the tense, mood, and context of sentences. Korean conjugation is easy. Basically, the verb stem stays consistent and the verb ending changes. The predicate is consisted of a stem and an ending. If the verb ends with 다, it is the basic form and the dictionary form. Now look at some verbs. These are all basic forms since their endings are all 다. 먹다, to eat. 읽다, to read. 가다, to go. 마시다, to drink. 만나다, to meet. 기다리다, to wait. 공부하다, to study. In these verbs, 먹, 읽, 가, 마시, 만나, 기다리, 공부하 are the verb stems. For example, 먹다, to eat. 먹 is the verb stem. To conjugate a verb, first you need to do is to delete 다 from the basic form. And the verb stem is never used by itself, so you must add the appropriate verb endings. 먹어요, eat. 먹었어요, ate. 먹을 거예요, will eat. 먹지 마세요, don't eat. 먹고 싶어요, want to eat. In many languages, a verb changes depending on the subject of the sentence. First person, second person, third person, and singular or the plural. The third person singular subject changes the verb form in English. However, Korean does not change the form. 저는 K-팝을 좋아해요. I like K-pop. 제 친구는, my friend. The subject is third person singular, so the verb like should be conjugated into likes in English. But in Korean, 좋아해요 is the same with the verb in a sentence with the first person subject 저는 or plural subject 우리는. 저는 K-팝을 좋아해요. 제 친구는 K-팝을 좋아해요. 우리는 K-팝을 좋아해요. Unlike languages like French or Spanish, there's no noun genders in Korean. And in some languages, including Chinese and Thai, there are some specific tones to learn. It can make the learning much more complicated. But in Korean, there's no tone in words. Korean sentence structures are actually quite flexible. The complete Korean sentence structure is subject, time, place, object, manner, and the verb. The verb always comes at the end of the sentence. That's most important. Other elements of the sentence with particles can be changed their order, but the meaning doesn't change. 저는 지금 학교에서 한국어를 열심히 공부해요. I study Korean at school hard now. 저는 학교에서 지금 한국어를 열심히 공부해요. 저는 지금 학교에서 열심히 한국어를 공부해요. 지금 학교에서 저는 한국어를 열심히 공부해요. These sentences are all possible in Korean. Especially in spoken Korean, it's quite common to omit the subject and some particles. 저는 커피를 마셔요. 커피를 마셔요. It is possible to speak without a subject. 커피 마셔요. Object particle 를 also can be omitted. It is often omitted the particles from the sentences when the context is enough to understand clearly what the subject or object in a sentence is without particles. There are a number of words that comes from English. They are called loan words. These words are slightly different to standard English, but since they are based on English words, they are easy to remember. These are some examples. 버스, 택시, 컴퓨터, 피아노, 커피, 아이스크림. In Korean, there are many Sino-Korean words. Sino-Korean words are originated in China. Many words, including numbers, also have pure and Sino-Korean pairs that have the same meaning. Not all of them, but these two have the same meaning but are used in different situations. Sino-Korean words tend to be used in formal or literary contexts. The higher the level, the greater amount of Sino-Korean words. These are the examples. The pure Korean number is 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯. The Sino-Korean number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Egg in Korean is 달걀 and 계란. 달걀 is pure Korean word and 계란 is Sino-Korean word. And the verb 고르다 and 선택하다 are both to choose. 고르다 is pure Korean word and 선택하다 is Sino-Korean word. Now I will mention the most difficult part of learning Korean. In Korean, honorific system is developed and other words should be used depending on the age, the relationship with the person, social status, and friendship. The honorific is an important part of learning Korean and understanding Korean culture. Look at the examples. 친구가 집에서 밥을 먹어요. 할아버지께서 댁에서 진지를 잡수세요. 께서 is honorific of subject particle 가, 댁 is honorific of 집, 진지 is honorific of 밥, and 잡수시다 is honorific of 먹다. These sentences are kind of very extreme examples. So watching this makes you scared learning Korean. Of course, the Korean honorific system is difficult, but honorific words are limited, and if you study step by step, it may not be as difficult as you think. So you don't need to worry too much.